So I was finally able to move out of my garage and move into my new shop because of this sawmill. And you can see that new shop here. We started building it, timber frame. We put it up. We worked in it as a woodworking shop. I built a bigger barn, a bigger shop, and now we use this one as a weight room. But we were all able to do this because of this sawmill right here. Now, today we're going to be talking about why sawmills are essential for the homestead. If you're considering starting a homestead, or if you're already a homesteader, this sawmill or a sawmill is a game changer for any homestead. The first reason it's a game changer is because of self-sufficiency. You know, if you don't have to run down to Lowe's and get some wood that's most of it's warped, most of it's twisted, half of it's cracked, it's garbage. I'm telling you, it's garbage. If you don't have to do that, then you're a lot better off. You're not dependent on Lowe's or Home Depot to give you lumber. Now, I can cut, let's just say I'm needing 50 2x4s. I can cut 50 2x4s quicker than I can go to the store and get them. Now, I understand this mill is a big mill, and you wouldn't need one this big for more than likely. I use this kind of to do woodworking on the side to sell. I sell some of it as well, so you wouldn't need one this big. But to be honest, you can cut better lumber on your own than you can get it from Home Depot or Lowe's. But you're self-sufficient. This is probably the last step. I wouldn't get this first, but on the last step of being self-sufficient, this is it, sawmill. Again, it wouldn't be my first priority on the homestead, but it would be one of my priorities, getting a sawmill. Now, obviously, the big advantage is you get to produce your own lumber. You make your own size. You can do what you want to on the lumber size or anything like that, and you get to make it the way you want it. You can harvest your own trees and make them into boards, planks, beams, anything you want on these sawmills. And actually, the smaller ones are kind of better, like in some ways. If I would like to get a smaller one because you can make beams that are 20 or 30 feet long. On this one, you can only go 20 feet, but on a smaller one where you can attach attachments to it, you can go as long as you can go. I mean, as long as you can keep putting attachments on it. So the smaller ones have their advantage. Imagine you have a project in mind. Maybe it's a new chicken coop. Maybe it's a new shed to hold your tractor. But instead of making a trip to the lumber yard or to Lowe's or Home Depot, you can head out to your own property, find a tree that's fallen down, blown over by the wind, or, you know, cut a tree if you got one that's you want to cut your own property, and you can cut your own lumber. And you can mill the exact lumber you need. You don't have to go get, you know, if I need a 4x8 by 10, I don't have to get a 12. I can get a 10. I can cut exactly what I need. Not only does that save you money, you can tailor the wood to your exact needs. You don't have to worry about the waste. It's the least amount of waste because you can cut it to basically within 6 inches of what you need. The next thing you can do is you can customize. You can customize the type of wood you want. So having a sawmill gives you the ability to cut the type of wood that you want. I don't know if you can see it, but there's walnut that's on this sawmill right here, and I'll use it to make some tables or something out of it. But I can cut whatever wood type I want. You know, if I want walnut because I want some beautiful lumber, I cut walnut. If I want poplar because I want some siding, I cut poplar. If I want pine for siding as well, then I cut pine. Another thing, and I know it's getting dark, so I'll try to hurry, but another thing is sustainability. I mean, you're cutting your own lumber, you're keeping the sawmills, you're keeping the timber guys out of there from just coming in there and ripping it to pieces. Because I can tell you that when they come in, they tear stuff up. And so you're able to cut it for your needs and not just completely tear your forest up. And that's going to maintain a healthy forest. You can only cut you can cut the big trees if you want. You can cut the dead trees if you want. You can cut the trees that have disease, and that helps the forest to not spread the disease. So you can help your forest by cutting trees that a lot of times the timber company won't even cut because they don't want the bad trees. They just want the good ones. But you can cut the bad ones first and then save the good ones for later. And you can use every part of the tree. There's things like the branches, and I mean, if you want to use that for firewood, and there's the timber company, they don't take, you know, the first 2 good logs, but you can take the stuff that has limbs coming out of it that has a lot of character. They don't even want that. But you can cut that up for lumber as well. You know, when you're cutting your own lumber, it gives you the opportunity to manage your forest the way you want it managed. You know, not only that, it can teach your family and your kids a sense of work ethic and how to work, how to build things with their hands. I mean, you might even build them a house with it one day. I don't know, but you can build houses with it. It's not, you know, you can do anything with this lumber. You know, where I live, you don't have to have permits to build stuff. So, you know, if I want to build a barn, I build a barn. I don't have to get a permit. And maybe that's where you live too on your homestead, that you don't have to get a permit. So you can build things with your own hands, with your own lumber, and you can teach your kids to do the same. I mean, you can teach your kids woodworking. You can teach them how to operate heavy equipment, machinery. You're going to need a tractor. You can teach them how to drive a tractor. So life lessons on a lot of the things that we do when we're using this sawmill. I mean, you can teach them forestry, how to pick a tree, which trees you want to cut. Many things you can do teaching and educating your kids with the sawmill. And you can build. You can build things. I built a bigger barn. As I said earlier, I built one. Now it's a weight room. I built bigger barn. I built chicken coops. I built houses for hunting out of. All these things you build with a sawmill. And in my case, I've actually sold lumber. Some of the lumber that's fallen, I can't use all of it, so I've sold some of it for people that want to build trailers and stuff like that. Not only is it a benefit to me, but it's a benefit to people around me. There are people in my community. When they call, if somebody I go to church with, a lot of times I don't charge them for the wood that I've cut. So it's a benefit to them as well. And I need things from them, and a lot of times they don't charge me, and they need things from me, and I don't charge them. It's kind of an understood trade. You have somebody help you out, and then you help them out, and it's kind of, you build that sense of community. And one of the things that does that for me is having a sawmill, because I can't do everything. Like, I don't know how to do electrical work, but somebody may come help me with my electrical, and then I help them with their wood. So you don't do it just for that, but you build that friendship, and you just naturally want to give to others because you got it. You got the skill, you got the wood, and they have skills too. So that's how you kind of build off each other. As the Bible says, as iron sharpens iron, you kind of take care of each other in that way. Now, if you're going to build a lot of stuff, a sawmill can save you some significant amount of money. I mean, when you go to Lowe's and have to buy lumber, if you have your own lumber, when you go to Lowe's and have to buy it, that's a significant cost. Now, I'm not talking about getting one of these right here. I'm talking about getting a small $5,000 wood miser or a sawmill that's cheap and cutting lumber on that sawmill. It's going to take a little longer, but you're going to get good lumber out of that sawmill, and that's a significant cost savings to your homestead. I was able to build a kiln with this thing where I can dry the lumber now, and then I was able to make furniture with it. I made our dining room table. I made a coffee table. There's several things that I've made with the lumber that came off my place using this sawmill, using the kiln that we built, and it's pretty awesome to be able to build something that grew on your papa's place, and it was a dead tree that was going to go rot. And now it's a piece of furniture that can last, as long as your kids keep it, if they care about it. But that's pretty neat. And so just having those things is one reason why you men, trying to help you convince your wives that you need a sawmill, because you can do a lot of things, and you can build her things too. I built charcuterie boards, cutting boards, things like that, which she likes, but all of it came from this sawmill and the land that we live on. So get you a sawmill.